Today's class is going to be on how Bitcoin can help prevent and stop wars.
What? That's insane. Are you just making stuff up now? Prove it.
Well, one of the ways that Bitcoin helps prevent and stop wars is being the first asset in history that you can truly own.
I still don't see the connection between owning something and preventing war. I mean, I own my own house, cars, stocks, and even my Star Wars collectible coins.
Well, actually you don't really own those. You just happen to have been born in a country, the United States, that reliably allows you to pretend to own them. And even several instances in the United States history did the government take private citizens' assets. FDR, by Executive Order 6102, seized all private citizens' gold. And eminent domain is just a law that allows the US government to take your house and land if they pay you what they consider a fair sum.
So my assets could be taken or frozen at nearly any time. It's fairly unlikely where I live, but it's not impossible. It happens more in other parts of the world.
Yeah, that about sums it up. And remember, if you can't choose what you do with an asset, then you don't really own it. Imagine having to leave a country for something like a war. Well, you're not going to be able to take your house with you, and many times not even things like your stock or bond portfolio. Also, these assets are easily confiscatable if your government, say, wants to fund a war effort.
Well, how do you truly own something then? Can't someone more powerful just come by and take it? Still don't see how this prevents war.
Well, let's start with the ownership first, as that really is the secret. Bitcoin allows you to take it into what is called self-custody by using a device called a cold wallet, which is also your Bitcoin key. Just think of this like the key to your safe. However, nobody, not even the most powerful government in the world, could take your Bitcoin if they don't have access to this key.
So by placing my Bitcoin on a private wallet, no one can take it. What if they steal my wallet?
They would still have a difficult time getting in, and you can take other precautions to make sure that your device is stored safely and makes that really unlikely. And you don't actually even need the device to store your Bitcoin. The device doesn't store your Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin cold wallet just stores the private key. So you can memorize this key. And then even if your device is lost or broken, you can get a new one, update it with your old key, and you have access to all your Bitcoin. So if you had to flee a war-torn nation with nothing but the clothes on your back, you can destroy your device after memorizing the key, get to somewhere safe, you get a new device, and you re-upload it with your old private key.
Wow, that's some pretty useful information if you ever have to take your wealth anywhere. But what if someone forces you to give them your key?
Well, that's the thing. Often it's going to be your choice. You can choose to give it to somebody. But take this for example. If I held you at gunpoint for your car and you refused, well, I could shoot you and take your car. If the same thing happened with your Bitcoin, I would get nothing. For the first time in history, you can really stand up to these tyrants and easily move wealth around to flee horrific conditions. Bitcoin also being hard money makes it really difficult for governments to fund wars. If the citizens truly own the money and the government can't print their way to more of it, then it's very difficult to fund these wars.
Oh, I see. Bitcoin de-incentivizes violence and war since it becomes unprofitable to do so.
That's how I see it. When the citizens own an asset that the government can't take or print more of, well, they can't confiscate or print their way to doing whatever they want. Let's repeat this one more time so it sinks in. Governments cannot fund wars against other nations when the citizens own an asset that the government cannot take or print more of. If you think about this use case alone for long enough, you'll realize why everybody who studies Bitcoin comes to the conclusion that the only moral action is to teach people about Bitcoin and create applications to better integrate it into their lives.
Whew.